Do you remember sitting in a cafe where the coffee came in glass cups and the fry-up covered half the table? Britain's cafes weren't just places to eat, they were part of our story. Some sparked trends, some vanished overnight. Today we're stepping back inside the cafes we lost forever. Which one was yours? Wimpy, the hiss of frying patties, onions browning on the grill, and the glow of red booths under neon light. Wimpy felt like a slice of America dropped onto the British high street. Launched in the 1950s, it was Britain's very first burger chain, and for a while it ruled seaside towns, shopping streets and student hangouts. Kids ordered their first cheeseburgers here, served on plastic plates with knives and forks, while parents lingered over frothy milkshakes and bottomless cups of tea. At its peak, there were hundreds across the country, but the 1980s and 90s brought fast arrivals like McDonald's, higher rents and falling standards. Wimpy thinned out, leaving behind only a scattered few. Comfort food? Not always. The next cafe promised pure glamour. Golden egg. Chrome counters gleamed, neon signs buzzed, and jukeboxes spun as Golden Egg lit up Britain's high streets in the 1960s and 70s. It wasn't just a cafe, it was a statement of modernity. Families poured in for milkshakes piled high with cream, burgers that arrived in minutes, and booths where teenagers made their first dates feel glamorous. Compared to the old corner cafe, Golden Egg looked like the future. Bright, confident, and full of colour. But futures don't last forever. Competition grew fiercer, trends shifted, and what felt cutting edge in 1965 seemed tired by 1975. Within a decade, most sites had closed, their neons stripped away, and when Golden Egg's glow faded, Britain's streets turned back towards something older, slower, and deeply traditional. Lyons Corner Houses. Beneath chandeliers and mirrored walls, Lyons Corner Houses were palaces of tea and coffee in early 20th century London. Staffed by the famous nippies in crisp uniforms, these grand cafes sprawled over several floors, serving everything from quick teas to full dinners. Office clerks grabbed sandwiches, shoppers rested sore feet, and families savoured elegance at a price they could afford. For decades they felt like the beating heart of the capital, modern, bustling and democratic. But the 1960s and 70s brought retail change. New rents, faster food culture, and smaller, trendier chains. Slowly the corner houses closed, their chandeliers dimmed, and an era of affordable grandeur vanished. If you're enjoying this trip into Britain's vanished cafes, don't forget to subscribe. The next rival tried to copy Lyons everywhere. ABC tea shops. The hiss of kettles, the smell of pastries fresh from the oven, and neat rows of tables made ABC tea shops a familiar comfort on Britain's streets. Founded to rival Lyons, they offered clerks, shoppers, and students a reliable pause. Tea, sandwiches, and light lunches served quickly in tidy, affordable surroundings. For decades they thrived as everyday havens, places where routine met warmth, where families lingered and students studied. But by the mid-20th century, eating habits shifted. Self-service cafes and fast casual formats moved in, while leases grew expensive and tastes modernised. Slowly ABC faded into memory, its tiled floors and polished counters lost to time. Yet for many, its ritual simplicity, a pot of tea, a scone, and a quiet corner, remains unforgettable. Little Chef. The smell of bacon frying, the clatter of knives on enamel plates, and the hum of road traffic outside the window made Little Chef an icon of post-war travel. Founded in the late 1950s, its red-roofed roadside cafes became a symbol of Britain's growing car culture. Families on holiday pulled in for all-day breakfasts, commuters grabbed mugs of strong tea, and children pressed noses to the glass waiting for chips. For decades, Little Chef was a ritual of the open road. But rising rents, changing travel habits, and fierce competition from service station giants eroded its once giant presence. By the 2000s, the chain shrank drastically. Though most sites are shuttered, the memory of fried breakfasts on long drives, warm, familiar and comforting, lingers on. Bernard's Cafe, the smell of frying bacon, the soft hiss of the coffee machine, and the scrape of worn chairs against wooden floors made Bernard's cafe a staple of working-class London life. Opened mid-20th century, it served office workers, factory hands and families seeking a hearty breakfast or a mid-morning break. The small tables were packed with chatter, newspapers, and the clink of cutlery on enamel plates. Every corner had a familiar face, every order delivered warmth alongside food. It was a place where the ordinary felt essential, and the mundane became memorable. And as the morning rush faded, another spot lingered in the shadows, smaller, quieter, yet humming with stories waiting to be discovered. Cardoma Cafés. The rich aroma of dark roasted coffee, the soft clink of fine china, and the gleam of polished Art Deco counters made Cardoma Cafés a magnet for poets, painters, and dreamers. Flourishing in the 1920s and 30s, these coffee houses offered a refuge from London's bustling streets, where ideas flowed as freely as the coffee. Writers scribbled verses on napkins, artists sketched in corners, and conversations hummed with creativity. For a moment, the world outside paused. Inside, imagination ruled the day. Though the doors have long closed, the scent of coffee still lingers in memory. And somewhere beyond the quiet streets, another space waits, quieter, stranger, carrying its own untold stories. Cater's Café, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee, the warm hiss of frying eggs, and the soft scrape of chairs on tiled floors made Cater's Café a Birmingham landmark for decades. Families stopped on weekends, office workers grabbed quick breakfasts, and students lingered over mugs of tea, textbooks spread across tables. Its polished counters, friendly staff, and the comforting buzz of conversation created a small world of familiarity amid the city's hustle. Every plate of beans, raviens, and toast carried a quiet ritual. Every corner held familiar faces, and every visit felt like a pause in the day's rush. Though its doors have closed, the memory hangs in quiet streets, and somewhere just beyond, another place waits to wake its own stories. United Dairy's milk bars, the sweet scent of vanilla, the clink of glass milkshake cups, and the soft hum of conversation made United Dairy's milk bars a cheerful escape from the city's bustle. From the 1930s to the 1950s, these cafes served creamy milkshakes, light lunches, and simple pastries, offering workers, students, and families a little moment of delight. Teenagers lingered at counters, office staff enjoyed quick bites between tasks, and children pressed noses to the glass displays, eyes wide at sweets and treats. Every visit carried a comforting rhythm, a pause in the day, a taste of simple joy. Though the doors have long closed, the scent still lingers, and somewhere, a corner waits to whisper flavours yet untasted. Mocha Bar. The rich aroma of espresso, the hiss of steaming milk, and the low murmur of conversation made Mocha Bar a Soho landmark in its heyday. Opened in the 1930s, it attracted writers, artists, and night owls seeking a quick caffeine fix or a quiet corner to sketch ideas. Polished counters, tiny tables, and mirrors reflecting soft light created a compact stage for creativity and conversation. Locals lingered over cups of strong coffee, exchanging stories and laughter, while passers-by paused to watch the city's heartbeat through the glass facade. Though its doors were demolished in the 1950s, the memory of aromatic steam and whispered ideas persists, and somewhere nearby a hidden nook waits to awaken taste buds yet unexplored. Munchie's Café, the warm scent of freshly baked pastries, the hiss of coffee machines, and the chatter of customers made Munchie's Café a favourite stop in northern cities. Opened mid-20th century, it served office workers grabbing a quick breakfast, students lingering over milkshakes, and families enjoying simple lunches together. The worn tables, polished counters, and friendly staff created a comforting rhythm where ordinary moments felt shared and special. Children pressed noses to glass displays, couples whispered over plates of chips, and the cafe buzzed with the gentle energy of everyday life. Though its doors have long closed, the aroma still floats in memory, and somewhere, a quiet corner waits to tempt taste buds with stories yet untasted. Spudulite Cafés, the warm, earthy scent of baked potatoes, the hiss of ovens, and the chatter of customers filled Spudulite cafes across Britain. From the 1970s until their collapse in 2019, these cafes offered hearty spuds with endless toppings, cheese, beans, chili, and more, serving students, workers, and families alike. Counters stacked high with steaming spuds, staff moving with brisk efficiency, and customers eagerly choosing their toppings made each visit a small ritual. From lunchtime rushes to cosy evening meals, Spudulite became synonymous with comfort, affordability, and a touch of indulgence. Though the last doors closed, the scent lingers in memory, and somewhere a plate waits quietly to awaken flavours you thought long forgotten. Mothercare Cafe, the gentle hum of conversation, the clatter of cutlery, and the warm smell of freshly baked cakes filled Mothercare cafes, once a familiar sight inside department stores. Families paused between shopping trips, children perched on high chairs while parents sipped tea or coffee, and the soft glow of lights made the space feel inviting. Staff moved efficiently behind counters, serving sandwiches, pastries, and comforting meals to shoppers seeking a small respite. The cafes were more than just pit stops. They were pockets of routine and warmth in bustling stores, where everyday life mixed with quiet indulgence. Though the doors have closed across the country, the aroma of teas and cakes lingers in memory, and somewhere, a corner waits to whisper its own forgotten delights. Burney Inn coffee lounges, the clink of cutlery, the warm aroma of coffee, and the soft murmur of diners made Burney Inn coffee lounges a familiar retreat alongside the steakhouse chain. Popular from the 1950s onward, these cafes offered hearty breakfasts, light lunches, and classic British comfort dishes to office workers, families, and travellers alike. Polished counters, uniformed staff, and neatly arranged tables created a sense of order and reassurance, while the buzz of conversation lent a lively rhythm to each visit. For many, stopping here was part of the week's routine, a pause in the middle of errands or an early evening treat. Though the last chairs have been cleared away, the scent of coffee lingers in memory. And somewhere else, a table waits quietly to awaken stories yet untold. Happy Eater. The smell of sizzling bacon, the clatter of plates, and the hum of families chatting made Happy Eater a beloved roadside stop for travellers. From the 1970s into the 1990s, it served children with fries and milkshakes, parents with hearty breakfasts, and truck drivers with quick mid-journey meals. The bright interiors, cheerful staff, and the gentle chaos of lunch rushes created a comforting rhythm for anyone on the road. Families lingered over tables stacked with plates, friends exchanged stories, and fleeting moments of connection turned routine pit stops into small celebrations of ordinary life. Though the last Happy Eater signs have faded, the aroma of fryers and coffee still lingers, and somewhere just down the road, a quiet spot waits to tell its own forgotten tale. Peter Dominic Wine and Coffee Bars. The rich aroma of coffee mingled with the subtle tang of wine, the clink of glasses, and the murmur of late-night conversations filled Peter Dominic Bars, a stylish 1970s chain. Patrons, from young professionals to artists, lingered over espresso or a light snack, soaking in the warm glow of polished wood and soft lighting. Counters lined with bottles, small tables crowded with notes and sketches, and a low hum of conversation created an intimate cosmopolitan atmosphere. For a decade, these bars offered a touch of elegance and escape, a brief pause from the ordinary rhythm of city life. Though the lights have dimmed and chairs are empty, and somewhere, a hidden doorway waits, holding flavours and whispers that time nearly forgot. Bon Marché tea rooms. The gentle clatter of fine china, the sweet aroma of freshly baked pastries, and the soft murmur of conversation made Bon Marché tea rooms a cherished refuge within the bustling London department store. Shoppers paused between floors, children lingered over tiny sandwiches, and office workers took a moment for tea and quiet reflection. Polished counters, neat tables, and attentive staff created a comforting rhythm, while the hum of activity outside contrasted with the calm interiors. For visitors, it was more than a cafe. It was a small sanctuary where ordinary moments felt special, and fleeting pauses turned into memories. Though the doors have long closed, the scent of cake still drifts through memory, and along quiet side streets, a hidden table hums with secrets yet to be savoured. Hickory's Cafe. The scent of frying bacon, the warm aroma of brewed coffee, and the soft scrape of chairs on worn floors made Hickory's Cafe a staple across northern towns. Opened mid-20th century, it welcomed factory workers grabbing a quick breakfast, families enjoying hearty lunches, and friends lingering over tea and toast. Counters piled with plates, staff moving briskly, and the gentle buzz of conversation created a rhythm familiar to every visitor. Each visit felt like a small ritual. Ordinary moments made comforting, simple routines made memorable. Though the last shutters have closed, the memory of sizzling grills and clinking cups lingers, and down narrow streets, a quiet corner waits, humming with stories yet untasted. British Home Stores cafes, BHS Cafe, the soft clatter of trays, the aroma of freshly brewed tea, and the hum of conversation made BHS cafes a familiar pause in busy department stores. Shoppers lingered between aisles, families stopped for sandwiches and cakes, and office workers grabbed quick coffees during lunch breaks. Counters stacked with pastries, friendly staff moving with practiced ease, and the gentle rhythm of everyday chatter created a comforting backdrop. It was a place where routines slowed, children pressed noses to glass displays, and fleeting moments became small memories. Though the last doors closed in 2016, the scent of tea and baked treats still lingers in memory. And tucked behind city streets, a hidden nook waits quietly, ready to reveal forgotten delights. Skeffington's cafés. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee, the soft clatter of cups, and the gentle hum of conversation made Skeffington's cafés a comforting fixture across the Midlands and northern towns. Open mid-20th century, these cafés served factory workers, families, students alike, offering simple breakfasts, sandwiches and sweet treats. Counters lined with pastries, polished tables and friendly staff created a warm, familiar rhythm, while patrons lingered over tea or shared stories across small tables. Every visit felt like a pause in the day, a moment to connect and savour the ordinary pleasures of life. Though the last shutters have closed, the scent of coffee and cake still drifts in memory. And just down a quiet street, a forgotten table waits to whisper stories yet untasted. Co-op cafes. The gentle hiss of coffee machines, the warm aroma of baked goods, and the soft murmur of shoppers made co-op cafes a familiar stop inside cooperative department stores. Families lingered over sandwiches, office workers grabbed quick lunches, and children pressed noses to glass displays of pastries and cakes. Counters stacked with treats, polished tables, and friendly staff created a comforting rhythm, turning everyday shopping trips into small shared rituals. Patrons savoured fleeting pauses, laughter mixed with clinking cutlery, and the hum of conversation made ordinary moments feel special. Though the last doors have closed, the scent of tea and sweets still lingers in memory. And tucked around a quiet corner, a table waits patiently, holding stories yet to be savoured. House of Fraser tea rooms, the soft clatter of china, the warm aroma of freshly brewed tea, and the gentle hum of conversation made House of Fraser tea rooms a calm refuge within bustling department stores. Shoppers paused between floors, children lingered over delicate sandwiches, and office workers took quiet moments to sip tea and savour pastries. Counters lined with cakes, polished tables, and friendly staff created a soothing rhythm, turning ordinary shopping trips into small rituals. Patrons shared fleeting smiles, laughter mingled with the sound of cutlery, and the space became a little haven of comfort amid the city's bustle. Though the doors have closed with the stores themselves, the scent of tea and cakes drifts through memory, and down a quiet hallway, a forgotten corner waits to tell stories yet untasted. Beecham cafés. The scent of freshly brewed coffee, the soft clatter of plates, and the faint chill from frozen aisles nearby made Beecham cafés a curious yet welcoming spot. Attached to the popular frozen food chain, they offered shoppers quick breakfasts, light lunches and sweet treats amid the hum of everyday errands. Families paused between aisles, office workers grabbed sandwiches, and children lingered over pastries, eyes bright with anticipation. Polished counters, neatly arranged tables, and friendly staff created a comforting rhythm, turning ordinary shopping trips into small shared rituals. Though the last cafes closed in the 1980s and 90s, the aroma of coffee and cakes drifts in memory, and just beyond a familiar street, a quiet table waits, holding flavours and stories yet untasted. Fort's coffee bars. The rich aroma of espresso, the hiss of steaming milk, and the soft clatter of cups made Fort's coffee bars a bustling refuge for city workers and shoppers alike. Founded by Charles Fort before his Little Chef empire, these cafes served quick breakfasts, light lunches, and the occasional indulgent treat. Counters stacked with pastries, polished tables, and friendly staff created a comforting rhythm, while office workers, students, and passers-by shared fleeting moments of connection. Every visit carried a small ritual, ordinary routines punctuated by the warmth of coffee, conversation, and familiarity. Though the last bars have long closed, the scent of espresso still lingers in memory, and tucked along quiet streets, a hidden table waits to whisper flavours yet untasted. Henneke's coffee houses. The aroma of strong coffee mingled with the faint scent of ale, the soft clatter of cups blending with distant pub chatter, creating a distinctive pub-cafe atmosphere at Henneke's. Popular in the mid-20th century, these hybrid spaces welcomed office workers, families, and locals seeking both warmth and camaraderie. Counters stacked with pastries and sandwiches, polished tables surrounded by well-worn chairs, and the hum of conversation formed a comforting rhythm. Patrons lingered over coffee or a quick bite, sharing stories that mixed laughter with the city's pulse. Every visit felt like a small ritual, ordinary routines made memorable through the charm of familiar surroundings. Though the last doors have closed, echoes of coffee and conversation linger, and somewhere a quiet corner waits, humming with secrets yet to be savoured. C&A cafés, the soft clatter of trays, the rich aroma of coffee, and the hum of shoppers made C&A cafés a familiar pause inside the fashion chain. Families lingered over sandwiches, children pressed noses to glass displays of cakes, and office workers grabbed a quick tea between errands. Counters stacked with pastries, polished tables, and friendly staff created a comforting rhythm, turning ordinary shopping trips into small shared rituals. Patrons exchanged fleeting smiles, laughter mixed with clinking cutlery, and the space became a haven of simple pleasures amid the store's bustling aisles. Though the last cafes closed by the 2000s, the scent of tea and cakes lingers in memory, and down a quiet corridor, a hidden table waits, holding stories yet untasted. British Rail refreshment rooms. The hiss of kettles, the warm aroma of tea, and the steady clatter of trays made British Rail refreshment rooms a comforting pause for travellers across the nation. From busy commuters to families on day trips, these cafes offered hearty breakfasts, sandwiches, and sweet treats, while passengers waited for trains. Counters lined with steaming plates, polished tables, and efficient staff created a rhythm of routine amid the hum of station announcements. Every visit was a small ritual, a moment of pause in the rush of travel, where fleeting conversations and shared meals punctuated journeys across the country. Though the last stations cleared their trays long ago, the scent of tea drifts through memory, and along old platforms a quiet corner waits, whispering stories yet untasted. Quodlibet coffee houses. The rich aroma of roasted coffee beans, the soft clink of cups, and the low murmur of patrons made Quodlibet coffee houses a favourite in London and Manchester. Popular until the 1970s, these cafes welcomed writers, office workers, and friends seeking a quiet retreat or a casual chat over tea and pastries. Counters stacked with cakes, polished tables, and attentive staff created a comforting rhythm, while conversations and laughter filled the air. Each visit offered a small pause from city life, ordinary routines elevated by warmth, familiarity, and the gentle bustle of shared moments. Though the last doors closed decades ago, the scent of coffee lingers in memory, and tucked down narrow streets, a hidden table hums with flavours and stories yet untasted. Selfridge's Cafe. The scent of freshly brewed coffee, the soft clatter of fine china, and the gentle murmur of conversation filled the ornate original Selfridge's Cafe. Shoppers paused between floors, children lingered over pastries, and office workers found a quiet corner for tea and sandwiches. Polished counters, elegant decor, and attentive staff created a rhythm of sophistication and comfort, turning ordinary shopping trips into moments of small indulgence. Patrons shared fleeting smiles, laughter mingled with the delicate clink of cups, and the cafe offered a pause from the bustling city outside. Though the original cafe has long been replaced, its aroma still drifts through memory and down hidden hallways. A quiet table waits to reveal flavours and stories yet untasted. Ponti's espresso bars. The rich aroma of Italian espresso, the hiss of steaming milk, and the soft chatter of patrons filled Ponti's espresso bars across London. Popular from the mid-20th century, these cafes welcomed office workers, artists and students seeking a quick coffee, a pastry, or a quiet moment. Counters lined with freshly baked treats, polished tables, and friendly staff created a rhythm of comfort and familiarity. Each visit felt like a small ritual, a pause from the city's rush, a chance to share laughter, ideas, or solitude over a cup of perfectly brewed coffee. Though the doors have closed, the scent of espresso lingers in memory, and the echoes of conversation, clinking cups, and fleeting moments live on, quietly shaping how we remember a vanished era. That's 30 vanished British cafes, hungry for more lost flavours and hidden memories. Click the next video to continue the journey through Britain's forgotten cafes.